Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I know it's weird seeing me without my glasses, but we got a really great show. We got Dan Sehn on coming on. So let me just play the intro, and then we'll get started. All right, welcome back. So, like I said, it's weird me without my glasses, but let's get started. Let's bring David Sehn on. He's a writer and publisher. Hello, David. I mean, not David. Sorry, Dan. I'm sorry I said your name wrong. I wrote it down improperly, and it looks like we're having a little technical issue. So for those who are watching, I want to let you know while we resolve this technical issue, he's a little frozen. It looks like he disappeared. Oh, he's coming back. Hello.
Trying to relocate. There we go.
Okay, so
Trying to relocate to get a better connection.
Okay, and
I wasn't home.
I just want to make sure I said your last name correctly. You're Dan Sehn, right? S-E-N.
That's correct. The H is silent.
S-E-H-N. The H is silent.
Throws everybody off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, for those watching, there are links to both his Kickstarter and his books on Indie Planet. So welcome. I hope you're doing well today.
Doing okay. Just did a little work, so excuse my appearance here.
It's hot out there.
The gym.
Yeah.
Get the protein drink going.
That's good.
Everything,
And we're going to talk a little bit about that because I read that you was it on your Facebook page that you're a professional bodybuilder? Or
I did turn pro in a drug-free bodybuilding organization. Drug testing. So, yeah, professional bodybuilding. A lot of times we're going to think of some big steroid monster.
Okay.
Naturally.
Well, I'm sorry. We are having a little technical issue. You freeze a little bit here and there, but it's not bad. So let me ask you. You write and you publish comics, and you obviously work out a lot. You were a pro bodybuilder. Was it comics growing up that got you into bodybuilding? And I'm asking this because I had a friend years ago who I don't talk with him. We lost contact, but he used to work out because his goal was to look like a superhero from the comics. Was that your motivation in there, or was that just something for health reasons?
Yeah, there was a combination. I do recall the first issue of Muscle Builder, which it was called before it was called Muscle and Fitness. The first one that I bought had Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk on the cover. So that's kind of like a transitional thing between the comics and the bodybuilding. There's also the point where I guess one of my favorite art, George, drew everyone very proportionate. So you kind of thought to yourself, that is how people should to some degree, and then you aspire to that. And that's pretty much the comics did have an influence, but I'd say there was even the Charles Atlas ads that was about working out to some degree. So they always kind of went hand in hand.
Okay. And as a writer, I read that when I read your bio, you started writing for like a bodybuilding magazine before you got into comics. I think we're frozen again for a moment. Let's give it a moment here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Your picture's frozen, but I can hear you a little bit. or maybe not anymore.
Yeah, I'm showing 2 bars, so it should be good. But
yeah, I don't know. So no, but I was saying, and I don't know if you answered before you froze, that I read, I think it was in your bio that you started writing for bodybuilding magazines before you went into, or fitness magazines before you went into comics. No. Can you hear me? Or
yeah, I heard the question, I guess, but you were freezing up for me.
okay.
Um, but yeah, write for body. I did write for bodybuilding magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, it was of course, a very different format than the comics, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was still a good training ground for writing. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's a periodical publication still with deadlines and stuff like that. So there's a few similarities, but it was a bit different, of course.
Yeah. And what got you into writing comic books?
Uh, well, I guess way before the working out, I was into the comics. So I was into the
Mm-hmm.
comics for as long as I could remember. So that would be, who knows, 3 years old, 4 years old, whatever. Um, the bodybuilding, like I said, that muscle and fitness with Lou Frigno, that was, let's see, I guess I was like 12 at that point. So, but I didn't really join up a gym till 17 years old. So, um, I guess that the comics predated that.
Okay.
And even then, because I do art. I did draw Argo 5 #1, even though
Mm-hmm.
we're up to issue 37 now. I drew #1. And in that respect, I was like, making my own little comics, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, eh, before grade school, So
Yeah.
yeah, there was a Marvel Mutt, the a dog superhero, and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just drawing some little adventures there just to show my friends. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, as long as I can remember, I was creating stories.
Yeah. That's awesome because I think everybody who wants to get into comics was doing that since the childhood. And I gotta
Yeah.
say, I know for a fact I've read two of your books. I've read the zero issue to Argo 5, and I've read is it called Impact International or International
Okay, yeah.
Impact?
Impact
I've read both
International.
of those. Yeah, and I gotta say I enjoyed the books. I enjoyed this concept, the story behind them, um, and these were the digital copies. I do a lot of Indie Planet just downloads to have on my iPad or something when I'm traveling, and so I can't carry all the books with me. So I usually pull the Indie Planet stuff and do the digital downloads. And I saw those two, and I've read them before, and I really enjoyed them. Um, so Argo 5 is really like I guess your flagship book. It's your largest um you know the amount of publications you've done with them. Can you tell me about how Argo 5 came about and why you think it's lasted so long in issues?
Well, first of all, I appreciate that you got the books and like them. So
Mm.
I have to thank you for that. Um, well, Argo 5, pretty much uh, again in high school, that need to create comics. They started out with the name Protectors,
Mm-hmm.
which I saw at one point. There was some, I think Malibu Comics was doing
Yeah,
the Protectors at one point,
yeah. I was gonna.
and there's a lot of controversy over the name. I remember Jason and the Argonauts. They were
Mm-hmm.
in the ship called the Argo, which carried Greece's greatest heroes. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, well, in my boldness, I said, why not have Argo Comics carry today's greatest heroes?
Okay.
That's kind of like Stanley hyperbole there, like, oh, I'm the greatest thing around.
Yeah.
Face front, true believers. But no. So then, yeah, there were actually a few different lineups with Argo 5, and some of the people who got casted away became the Paladins. So if anyone gets that book, I did just one issue, the Paladins. Those were formerly all members of Argo 5 at one point, but by the time I published #1, I had uh, I had solidified the team that you have now.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, and I guess they've lasted quite a while simply because I stuck with it, and you know, uh, there's like I don't really confine them too much to a particular genre, so there's a lot of variety in the book that you'll see,
Yeah.
and in that respect, I've always been able to do something new with them, which I think has aided in their longevity.
Yeah. Before we continue, I just want to pop up the your social media so people can go to the website argocomics.com and to find you on Twitter at Dan Sehn, but there's a silent H in there. And also to remember the links to his Kickstarter, which we're going to look at in a little bit, and to his books on Indie Planet are in the comments section already. All right. So one of the things I liked about your books that I that I always found interesting, and I kind of do it with my stories a bit, is that you crossed mythology with, like, if you want to call them regular heroes. So not everyone's linked to mythology. You got your Superman version there, and I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember the characters' names, but you have that one that's basically a god. In the Argo, who has like the bird emblem on him.
Yeah, the Maltese Falcon, because
Yeah.
he's in the Maltese pantheon,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't really exist. So you have the Greek gods, the Norse gods. I created a god for the island of Malta, being I'm half Maltese, so I wanted to represent
Yeah.
for them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now in actuality, yeah, unlike Thor or Hercules or whatever, in the story, which I believe was Argo 5 #19, that told his origin, I had his father bring him to get baptized. And actually, Malta is a very Catholic community. So in that respect, unlike Odin, who believes he's supreme, or Zeus or whatever, Ekros, which was the king of the Maltese gods and Shazrath's father, he believed in Christianity, so he had him baptized. So he has kind of like the mythological strength, but then also a strength that might be akin to like Samson or something. So it kind of takes him to the next level in my comics universe.
Yeah.
From other super strong characters.
Okay. Let's take a look. I want to take a look at some of your comics here on Indie Planet. All right. So let's head over to Indie Planet and take a look here. So we're looking at. I'm going to just scroll through here, and you could, if you want to talk about them. So this one here obviously was a bodybuilding magazine, or was it a comic that you did?
Yeah, that's an odd choice there for the first one. I'll admit. Yeah, it was I was crossing over of being a pro bodybuilder and being a comic book publisher. I said, let me put out like not an instruction manual completely. It kind of like goes over the routines and nutrition I used to turn pro in the drug-free bodybuilding.
Okay.
I had done a lot of photo shoots. There was unused photos. So I said, let me just throw this all in a comic for all the people who keep coming up to me and asking me to write them a program, write them a diet. I say, now I could just, slap this book on them and say, here you go.
Nice. Interesting. Next up, you have Nature Man. But before we talk about Nature Man, Thunder Zone, is that your publishing company or is that someone else's?
Okay, so I have Argo Comics,
Yes.
but then I had other people approaching me to publish their books.
Okay.
So I made another imprint, kind of like Vertigo is for DC. I
Mm-hmm.
made Thunder Zone, and that I have some properties in there as well, but it's also other people's properties, a separate universe from the Argo Comics universe. So, like I said, it's kind of like a Vertigo imprint, but it's more along the lines of Image, where everyone owns their own characters. And they can participate in whatever crossovers.
Yeah.
It's a shared universe, but only to and as far as each creator wants to participate in that aspect of it.
Okay. And I see you use Nature Man. Nature Man is public domain. Is that something that was brought to you by somebody who wanted you to publish their work, or was that your idea to use Nature Man?
No, that one was mine. I had seen a lot of public domain characters. I enjoyed a lot of the books that had public
Yeah.
domain characters, and I didn't want to just use. Black Terror got a lot of play lately. I said, let me
Yeah.
see who else is out there, public domain, and Nature Boy kind of struck me as a cool character, but bringing back Nature Boy would just lead to too many people going, "Woo, the Nature Boy!" So
Uh-huh.
the Ric Flair, a lot of the pro wrestling fans cross over into comics. So I
Yeah.
said, by now he'd probably be Nature Man. And what I did with this public domain character, which a lot of people seem to just continue adventures or revamp them, I'm making like
Mm.
all those Nature Boy adventures happened, and then he disappeared at the time when publication stopped, which was, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, 1947. And then,
Mm-hmm.
within this book, you'll see him coming out of the grave, and the tale is told on, what happened to him, where he's been, and now he is back. And there are some other public domain characters that will appear in Nature Man as well.
Cool. So I obviously you have issue 37 here. I'm not going to go through all 37, issues that you got here, but I who draws most of the Argo 5 books? Because I really love the style that I see.
Yeah, actually, that cover that we just passed up with Chris Cross, did
This
he
one?
did like Captain Marvel? Yeah, he did Captain Marvel for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
The Genesis Val Captain Marvel, which
Okay.
was the original son. So throughout the books, Argo 5, and my other book, Sorority of Power, you'll see a lot of pinups and covers from just some of the people I've been a fan of
Mm-hmm.
through the years.
Yeah, I saw
And,
in
I
one of
approach
the.
them and are able sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I saw in one of the books. I don't know if it was the Argo 50 issue I read or the other one, but I saw you had Rob Liefeld do a piece for it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think issue 0 had Rod Liefeld and Terry Dodson, and
mhm.
I'm trying to think if Kevin McGuire or Bill Willingham, because I also have them, just in various issues. But um, yeah, actually, the cover after this one, if you scroll
This
up a
one?
little more, Tom Rainey is another favorite of mine from
Yeah.
the big two. So I really was ecstatic to get that cover from him. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, but Leo Gondam is the series artist as of
Okay.
37, and we do have a number of issues completed by him. Prior to that, I was kind of rotating artist because
Hmm.
in the indies, not everyone could do it full time. So
Yeah.
rather than just wait on each artist, and that's how it got to 37, is by rotating the artist. While one guy was working on issue 12, the other guy was working on 17. And then when that guy got done with issue 12, maybe he jumped to issue 22. Um, and I mean, even in the big two, you don't see the same artist. They'll do a stretch of 3 or 4, but
Yeah.
most of the time they're getting replaced. Somehow the indies, we limited ourselves to thinking, no, it has to be the same artist.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had to split an issue when the artist got busy with something else, and the big two do it as well. So why cripple ourselves?
Yeah.
You know,
Um, before we move on, since Argo 5 is is basically your flagship book, I left this cover up because it shows all the characters of the team. You want to just kind of go over who they are and give us a little pitch to the people who may have never read your book?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Well, on the left there is Shazrath. He is that Maltese god of strength that I mentioned. And again, he has a unique background
Mm-hmm.
in the fact that he has the mythology and the religion. So I basically wanted to try to make characters that were different from the big two, because everyone wants to jump on and say, oh, that indie character, oh, he's wearing red and yellow. Is he your Captain Marvel? And he's not, but, you know, people
Yeah.
just try to, and I understand, we love those characters, and
Mm-hmm.
people are somewhat even protective of them. So if, someone has any inkling of being somewhat near their character, they're going to on it. But uh, so yeah, he's a Maltese god of strength. In the middle, we have Gladiatra, and she is the team leader. And uh, she is the daughter. And again, I'll again homage some things on occasion. The daughter of like the Superman character of this universe. So
Yeah.
he was Megamax. He was kind of like the first one, the greatest one, and uh, I had her origin. I'm thinking around issue 2022 maybe. I can't be sure, but um, she has the powers of flight and strength,
Mm-hmm.
um, and she does have laser vision. But she leads the group. Next to her, we have Chain Reaction, and he is a martial artist. But beyond being a kung fu master, he has the ability to create a chain reaction. So pretty much he might kick something that knocks something else over, that knocks something into the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, him, you have Kathira. She is a half genie. So there's a mortal father and a genie mother, because the mortal father actually wished for something that would lead to a child. So that was an issue. Her origin got touched actually right away in issue 2.
Okay. And well, I don't know if you froze
The
again.
Friller. Am I
I'm sorry.
back?
Can you, yeah, you kind of froze for a second. So the last guy.
Yeah. Okay. And the last guy's Blue Dynamo. So his origin, issue 6, and that's actually the issue with the Rob Liefeld cover.
Okay.
Um, and he was abducted by aliens, and the spaceship that they abandoned was going into a blue star, and he absorbed the energy of the blue star. So he has the energy of a blue star within him, and he channels
Okay.
those through the stones that were in the engine of the spacecraft, which he wears on the bracelets.
Okay. All right. And behind them is obviously their base of operations.
The
Right.
space station
Yes.
that, yeah, that is, yeah, where they work out of.
And just a little kind of pitch for the story. Like, I read, like I said, I've only read issue 0, so I don't know too much. I just know how the team got together. You know. Um, yeah.
Yeah, well, in reading issue 0, you would have
Mm-hmm.
seen Blue Dynamo go on that little backup story. He goes on HeroDate.com
Mm-hmm.
to try to find a superhero date,
Yeah.
which normally consists of patrolling and then, you know, kind of exchanging personal information. So kind of like what us mortals do, but
Mhm.
you know, a little beefed up. So now, uh, in regards to that, I try to throw in some of that social element, some of that you know, romance, not being a romance comic and everything, but just throwing some of that into it. I think one of my big influences was Love and Rockets, which it
Okay.
started kind of like sci-fi, but it was more slice of life as we went along,
Yeah.
and they didn't really limit themselves to one thing. So that's why Argo 5 does become a little tough to pigeonhole. Sometimes I want to take like the Seinfeld route and say it's a comic about nothing because it's not like I want to, you know, I don't have a completely, you know, at one point Gladiator is looking for her father.
Mhm.
Um, Shazrath is framed for the destruction of the space station. Blue Dynamo is abducted again by the aliens that he originally got those stones from
Yeah.
his bracelets because they want the stones back.
Yeah.
Chain Reaction, we see his origin. He's Mexican, so his origin actually lies with his father in Mexico as a luchador. So, uh, you know, it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But
It
when
sounds
people
fun.
see, yeah, that's basically it. I'm not, you know, trying to tell. I hope there's some epic moments,
Mhm.
but I'm not trying to uh, retell the French Revolution using gerbils.
Yeah, I get it.
Um, yeah,
All right, let's move off of Argo 5 because, you know, you have a Kickstarter going on, which has actually been funded um, by a bit more with only 68 backers. And I think that's fantastic. You want to tell us about the books that you're kickstarting here for? You got the two, you got the Big House Blues and the Squad.
yes. Well, Big House Blues is my book, okay,
Mhm.
and that is a prison for supervillains
Mhm.
where the superheroes are the prison guards or the corrections officers.
Okay.
And that's actually the stretch goal we're looking at right now. We're trying to get every backer who is getting the level with the variant covers and beyond will
Mhm.
get another copy with this variant. So it's like a pulp magazine style
Yeah.
painted cover. And we're actually going to give the original painting on canvas to one of those backers as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm not, you know, I'm going all out with that stretch goal. I know it's usually a magnet or a pin or something, but I'm really stepping it up if we can get to that point. Um,
Well, you're not too far off from what I saw, right? You're at 3,500. You know, I
yeah,
mean, that's a goal for 4,000. You got 6 days left. I think that's definitely um, a doable goal.
yeah, we should. Now that's Officer Alloy,
Uh
and
huh.
he is actually the head corrections officer and the main character of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically, like I said, there's special. Actually, as we scroll up, you'll see a sample page, but we're going to have the cover for the other book, The Squad, which I'll get back to. But
Mm-hmm.
you'll see there it is. We got uh, they're leading a new prisoner. So the two superheroes with the badges, those are corrections guards
Mm-hmm.
who decided, you know, I'll take this job as a corrections officer, get some benefits, job security, and you can see the special bars where the prisoners are in the background there, and they're leading a new prisoner, and he's wearing like a power inhibiting collar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. And who drew this?
and that's Elton Tomasi. Elton Tomasi doing the artwork,
Okay.
and Giuseppe Pica doing the colors, and we had Luis Diaz doing the letters to this book. So
Okay.
I'm very proud of it. And now this is the villain kind of recanting how he had gotten, you know, he had the power to mimic
Mm-hmm.
people's appearance. So he's kind of saying what he used to do. And
Yeah.
how he ended up, in the jail.
Nice.
It's called the Mega Villain Reformatory, is the name of the prison. I use mega heroes, mega villains, because a
Mm.
couple companies have a dual copyright on the term superhero. So,
Yes, I'm aware of that situation.
yeah, mega heroes works for me. And Mega Max was the first hero, so kind of
Mm.
lines up.
Yeah. This is really nice. It just looks really nice art. I'm kind of skimming because I haven't had a chance to
Yeah,
really
that's the
check
villain.
out.
Kind of like, I don't belong in here with these guys.
Yeah, it's beautiful work. I love the artwork.
That's a shark villain.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, Elton really knocked it out of the park. And
yeah,
there's Officer Alloy making his rounds.
yeah.
Now, that's the squad. That's the sample pages from the squad. The
Uh-huh. Let's
squad
scroll up so we
comes,
can see the squad's cover.
yeah.
So while you talk about it. Okay. So this is
Now,
the
the
squad.
squad, yeah, with Thunderzone, as I said, I publish other people's books.
Yeah.
So, with the squad, that is Nigel Flood's book. And Dodi Eka doing the art, Tony Brando doing the colors, and Jerry Judge Hines doing the lettering and design work for the book.
Okay. I think you froze again.
Obviously put out.
Oh, hold on. I think you're freezing again. Give it a second.
Well,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
yeah, I could hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I think you froze for a moment. So I'm
Okay.
going to scroll down back to the squad's pages now.
Yeah. Nigel from Ireland made the squad, and he had produced Celtic Clan, which was an Irish super team, and The
Mm-hmm.
Globalist was a book by him as well. So now he brought the squad to Thunderzone, and all the characters have an Irish background. Um, like the female hero in the book is Claudia, and she has a Claudia
Okay.
ring,
Uh-huh.
which, again, people familiar with Irish lore know about the Claudia ring. And actually, if you go out to a bar or something and was meeting someone, and they had the Claudia ring turned one way or the other, that would tell you if they're single or taken.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not Irish, so I don't know the whole story of everything, but um, all these heroes, again, all have something to do with Ireland. And the main character, which you're seeing right there in white, Straw Boy, um, he's a sidekick, and his mentor has gone missing or killed, where it's specified in the story. I don't want to, of course, spoil it for everyone, but it's kind of his. He kind of takes the lead a little bit, and in investigating that. But again, I'm just with any book that applies to Thunderzone.
Mm-hmm.
You said there was a certain quality to Argo comics and Argo
Yeah.
5. I have to make sure that that's going to be the case with Thunderzone. So there's the Clawder ring right there, actually.
Yeah.
So, they're books that I believe in. We had actually our previous campaign, first one being Nature Man. Then we brought in Supercross, which was a creator from Singapore that I had come in contact with a great book, that being a fantastic book. And then Defenders of Europe were creators from Italy that
Mm-hmm.
brought Defenders of Europe to us. So we really are a global uh, group of creators
Yeah.
bringing you books that are going to have a more distinct flavor, being that they're not just all from a U.S. based. That's as you can see, we have some variant covers there,
Yeah.
and this painted variant covers by the artist who actually is offering commissions within the campaign.
Oh, cool.
That's a variant for the squad.
Yeah. You know, I really enjoy the artwork that you guys having on here, and your stories sound fantastic. Like, I definitely will be going on Indie Planet and buying more. And like I said, the reason I buy these books, let's bring us back on here. The reason I buy these books is because I travel a lot. I'm sure you do conventions, although they're not happening right now. But I can't always carry a lot of stuff with me. I'm always carrying all the stuff I sell, and me and my business partner, we run kids sections at conventions, so we're always bringing our supplies and things that we need. So when I have my alone time in a hotel room or whatever, I want to read comics or I want to watch something. So I buy a lot of digital books just to have on my iPad for traveling. Could be on a plane, could be whatever. So I like that Indie Planet exists. I like that you have your stuff up. Your stuff really actually kind of speaks to me in the type of stories I like to read. One book I didn't ask you about that I saw going through Indie Planet was called Sorority of Power. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Again, trying to give something a little unique. I hadn't seen a group of sorority characters. I think, Argo Comics started 2005, July
Okay.
2005. So we're coming up on 15 years. And Sorority of Power, thank you. Yeah, Sorority of Power basically encapsulated 3 sorority sisters and then 3 pledges. And actually, it's made reference that Gladiatra from Argo 5 went to Argo University and within the Sorority of Power, which is Super Gamma Mega, is the sorority's name. So again, that has more of a little more comedy, even though there is some comedy in Argo 5. That's a little more comedy, a little bit of cheesecake. So, but again, always just trying to tell a story that you might not see in the big 2, because as I come to realize, those books are already out there. So why put those books out again?
I completely understand. Let me ask you this: you do a lot of, obviously, with Sorority of Power and in Argo 5. I forgot the character's name. The team leader, was it Gladiatra?
Gladiatra.
Yeah, you do a lot of female characters, which is great. Do you find it hard to write female characters, or is it easy for you to do that?
No, I grew up with a sister, and of course, girlfriends. You might kind of borrow a few things from different people. In actuality, my last Argo Comics Kickstarter that wasn't Thunder Zone was Pink Puma and Red Rooster, and they were actually based on 2 friends of mine. So, channeling her was a lot easier, knowing that, knowing her rather.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I'll start off with a person in mind, even in Argo 5. You get that starting point, even if you don't know exactly how they react to something, and especially, none of them are usually fighting supervillains. So, you kind of use that as a springboard off of how they would react, and their characterizations.
Oh, hold on. I wanted to let me just pull something up here because I have some stuff I wanted to ask you about. Where was it here? Actually, it was Pink Puma and Red Rooster because I saw it on your Twitter page and I was curious who they were, but you just explained that to me. So that's cool.
Yeah, they actually, when bit strips was a big thing, they made some vicious bit strips against each other.
Okay.
So again, there wasn't, from what I've seen, a lot of like books where the two partners, let's say Power Man and Iron Fist, they weren't like really like frenemies, you know, where they were. A
Yeah.
lot of people, I don't know if with you and your friends, it's not really my style, but a lot of people, it's just giving each other a hard time. Seems to almost be the, you know, the whole dialogue there.
Yeah,
And
I
they
have a few
were doing
friends.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got a few
they were
friends
doing
I'm
that
like
big
that.
time in the bit strips. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were doing that big in the bit strips, so I went kind of in that direction with their personalities in the comics.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Um, what was I can't remember the exact title. Was it International Impact or Impact International?
Yeah, Impact International.
Internationally. Can you tell us a little bit more about that book? I read, like I said, I know I read it. Was that the only issue that's available of it, or? Um,
Well, okay, my original publication. Okay, I
mhm,
had two pinup books, but then the
mhm.
original book I put out was the Argo Comics Anthology, and issue one had Impact International and the Teen Machine. So
Okay.
I did a 6-issue series on the Argo Comics Anthology,
Mhm.
and some of that has been repackaged into those solo books like Impact International, like Teen Machine, like Teen North America, the Havoc Patrol, Paladins. Those are
Yeah.
all, some of those books have new stories included, but some of them are reprinting what was in the Argo Comics anthology.
Okay.
So Impact International has 2 issues with the
Mhm.
third in production.
Okay.
Third issue will be a crossover. So it'll be issue three of Impact International. It'll also be issue three of another book that we're not supposed to say at the moment, but it
Okay.
is a book that also has 2 issues. So we'll both be putting out dual number threes, just with a different title logo on it, and it'll have both teams in that book.
Okay. Because I got to say, I really enjoyed that, and I didn't know there was more than one issue. Whatever I read was what I purchased, and I do have to go back on Indie Planet and look more stuff up. Um, and what was I going to say? I'm just going to pull up so people can see. So if I go to oops, Impact International, you know, let's. So is I don't know which cover I have. Oh no, I have to have this one right here. So let's share the screen again here. This is the one I
Okay.
believe I have because I believe it was a 40-page book, and there was a bunch of pinups in there as well. I believe, correct?
I always have the pinup section in the back,
Yeah,
kind of like the '80s indies used to do that a lot.
yeah.
So I pay homage to that.
So yeah, this is the one I read, and then above it I guess is number two, or is this
That is number two. See
Impact?
if
Yeah.
you click on any of these right now.
Okay, let's click on this one. Whoops,
Okay.
hold on. Wrong screen to be on. Okay.
All right. Now, first of all, you'll see. Well, this one doesn't have a. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's another cover. So you always have to be able to click on the other cover to see which one you want.
Yeah.
But beyond that, if you scroll down,
Mhm.
you'll see that Argo Comics.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, so you click on that, and
And this
that
is
takes you to all the books.
and you got 73 books on here.
Yes.
So Law and Order, you want to tell us a little bit about that real quick?
Okay, again, uh, jumping off springboarding from a friend.
Uh-huh.
She was working the counter at my gym,
Uh-huh.
very short,
Mm.
and telling me that she wanted to become a cop, and her name was Lauren.
Oh.
So I said, "Oh, you'll be like Law and Order." And then I went home, drew the character, and it kind of stuck with me to some point where I think Argo 5, I forgot her first appearance, but she appeared first in Argo 5 as a liaison between the National Police Organization and the superheroes.
Oh, cool.
So she's appeared in Argo 5, she's appeared in Sorority of Power, but in her own specials, again, it goes more towards the Sorority of Power where it's more humorous and I guess some predicaments due to her uh, short height and fighting supervillains. So, see, actually, on the first page, if you
I'll
went
go.
back,
Yeah, I'll go back.
yeah, if you go to the top and you see where it says default sorting,
Yes.
default, yeah, I like to drop down on that. Do the drop down on the with the right arrow on the right side. I don't know if you can get to it.
Yeah, I'm down here. A to Z, or
Like right where it says, yeah, I go to A to Z.
there we
And that
go.
way you're getting everything in order. You're starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 with the Rob Liefeld cover,
Uh huh.
7, 8, 9. So that's to me a better way of. I don't know what the
Yeah.
default setting is for them. It's not even by release date or anything for this
Yeah.
website, but that gets you to much more orderly. Uh, Yeah, so then you get to the last issue of Argo 5, start with the anthology because we got the double
Yeah.
shot, which gives you 3 8-page stories with 2 heroes who haven't met each other. They're on different teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't, uh, well, we have our only the Law and Order specials,
Mm-hmm.
Paladins, our only kids book, which I kept going to conventions, and I don't really make my books too much for kids.
Yeah.
Uh, so Pickle Man was born, and he was consistently my top convention seller.
Really?
Um, yes. Um, Online, it doesn't really do much, but at
Mhm.
conventions, uh, I guess parents would just be like, my kid loves pickles. Like, let me have that. Um, like I said, we have the Sorority of Power issues there,
Mm-hmm.
going to Team North America.
And let's hit number 3. I think I did. And
Yeah,
then
that's the Teen Machine.
let me just ask you, since cons aren't going on right now, how are you doing with I'm not going to ask you sales, right? But how is it going, like with promotion, book promotion? Are you getting responses, uh, whether it's through digital sales, the print on demand? Are you finding there's still interest in books without being in shows, or
Yeah, I tend to think that by being able to share a link and you know uh, how many people are just kind of glued to their smart devices these days. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, the digital sales and even people just finding the print copies by going online. Um, I'd have to say that that is almost a better way, being that the cons, I don't have really prints of the mainstream characters,
Mhm.
and it seemed to me cons were kind of going that way, where a lot of people were doing a lot on these prints of mainstream characters, um, and it wasn't always a place to try new books anymore. There was, a lot of cosplay, which I enjoy seeing that, and I think that's great. Cosplay was a big thing, and the print sales was a big thing. So, um, and I do art because again I drew Argo 5 #1, so I would probably even do better on commissions. But again, I'm not really displaying all these prints from the mainstream characters.
Yeah.
So the commissions were more like if people looked through my art portfolio and said, "Oh, can you do a whatever?" Um, so yeah, I mean, I had slowed down a bit on the conventions anyway.
Hmm.
Um, uh, so it didn't really impact me as much, perhaps as some others, especially mainstream artists who I love going to conventions and getting a piece from mainstream artists whose work I enjoyed as well. But
Yeah.
as far as my own promotion of, the an indie company, um, it doesn't hit me as hard.
No, I get that. I mean, and you've been around for 15 years, and that's saying something for indie comics. I mean, I've worked on indie comics for people before. I have, and I've self-published, and between, the companies I've worked for, some don't exist no more. My books, are kind of scarce these days. I'm getting ready to put some stuff together for myself that I haven't worked on in a while, but because I want to start, having books again and doing books again. But yeah, to be in the industry for 15 years, to have such a variety, to have people coming into you now and saying, "Hey, you do this good of a job. We want you to publish our books." I mean, that's saying a lot. You've built a really good indie company in that time. I think that's actually quite amazing. It's very inspiring, and someone who has you have to have passion for this to continue with it for this long. And I just want to say
No, I
that's great.
I greatly appreciate you saying so. And yeah, it has been a passion project more so. I mean, I'm not with mainstream distribution, so it's a struggle, um, but it's almost a passion of just making comics
Yes.
and
Yeah.
getting them to people in
Yeah.
a timely fashion because I don't know how some people do it. Like, to run a campaign and then just be like, all right, you'll get it when you get it, or maybe you'll get it. I have, I guess it's just two types of people who are just like, you know, uh, and art doesn't always mesh well with that, but there's like, an inherent accountability that I
Yeah.
wouldn't leave people on a cliffhanger and never return to a book. I'd have to like finish it even at a loss.
Yeah. I understand.
That's yeah, and I don't want to just. I just posted that due to the pandemic, we Brazil wasn't allowed to ship to the U.S. So I do have some people from previous Kickstarter waiting for art rewards. But I posted, I tagged them in it, let them know what's happening,
Yeah.
and I'm always big on accountability and not making people sweat it out to see if they're going to get their stuff or not.
Okay. I just want to one more time because we're gonna wrap up in a moment here, but I want one more time for people to come back to your, just check out your Kickstarter. Um, I know your Kickstarter, like I said, has already been funded, and I think with 68 backers, that's amazing. And you've been overfunded, but you have a proven track record of putting out quality material that people come back for more for it. So I think people should be going out, checking out. I'm going to read through your Kickstarter because I haven't had a chance to really investigate it and look through it. But I might even be able to, might even donate myself. So you guys remember, inside the comments are the link to his Kickstarter. I think Dan's books are. Like I said, I've read two of them. I love them. I will be buying more. I know that. So this is something to definitely check out. And the link to his books on Indie Planet are in there. Um, so just go through it. Go through even his rewards. I mean, I was looking at a few of them. They look great. Some digital stuff, some printed covers, some printed books, and you know, just a lot of fun stuff. I mean, and in case we didn't make it clear in the throughout this whole time we've been talking here, you're also the publisher. You're not just the writer. You write all this stuff, but you also don't just handle the publishing. I mean, you are the publisher, you are the writer, so you have many hands in here, and like you said, you also have done some of the artwork too. So you're not just the guy sitting back. You're really in there and you're doing the stuff, and I think that shows in what you're producing.
Yeah, I think almost editor might be one of my main jobs, really, because that
Yeah.
is really what, corralling the talent
Mhm.
to get the right talent on a book.
Yeah.
And then, even the books that are coming from the outside, just uh, getting those, you know, uh, uh, up to standards. I mean, indies, of course, there's oftentimes where there's little things that are overlooked or, typos or whatever. But yeah, editor would say almost outstrips all the other things. But, of course, responsibility as a publisher, like I said, and getting things out to people,
Yeah.
that, yeah, is another one.
So since we're going to wrap up in a moment, is there anything you'd like to add, something that we didn't talk about that you wanted to make sure you got out today to the audience?
Yeah, no, we covered a lot there. I mean, that's I have a lot of books, so it was we did quite a challenge in trying to
Yeah.
cover most of them. I really appreciate the opportunity of coming on the show and everything like that, and getting a look at your Dino statue there.
That's
So,
actually a bank. That's a Funko bank.
ah, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Funkos I didn't really always get into, but there are a few that I have.
Yeah, I have. I'm a.
Giant heads.
I have a whole shelf above, well, 4 shelves above me. Most of them are Funko related. Hanna Barbera. It's 4 shelves of Hanna Barbera stuff. But I got my Rocketeer, who I keep close to me since I love that,
Oh,
and,
there you go.
and I got my Snake Eyes from GI Joe over here. Where's the camera? So, I also have the Phantom somewhere here. Got my Voltron. So I do like, what I like about them is I do a lot of kid friendly art. That's my style. Is It's all kid friendly. Even if I do superheroes, it's still very kid friendly, all the stuff. And I just like this kind of big head. It kind of reminds me of kind of a cartoony, big head, tiny body type of cartoons. And it's kind of similar. I don't want to say similar to how I draw, but it's got a little bit of how I draw in there. And
Do you
so I
know
don't.
Chris Giarrusos?
Yeah, I know Chris.
Yeah, so he actually did a cover for War of the Independence,
Yes, I
and
remember that.
yeah, it has Shazrath on there. So I
Yeah.
was honored to have him
Oh,
throw in
that's
my
awesome.
character.
That's awesome.
And Todd Nook did the other cover, but I think I have a pop Little
But
Shop of Horrors.
Todd's. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Todd's also another amazing artist. Yeah.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
you
I have
know.
pinups from him.
Oh my God, that's amazing. We also got a comment from Joe Ryan, who's one of our regular viewers on here. He says, "Great show tonight, Michael Gracia. Very informative." Um, Thank you, Joe, for number one tuning in, and I'm glad you enjoyed this. And I really do hope you go check out Dan's work and his books. Um, but yeah, anyway, just getting back to what you were saying. Yeah, you got a lot of great artists doing pinups or whatever for you on there, and it's fun to look at. I remember when I went to the pinup page, I just sat there staring at page by page, just looking at them because
Yeah,
they
like I
were
said, the '80s books used to have that in the back. I used to love it, and just like like I said, some heavy hitters who were tough. A lot of these guys are tough. I mean, the show where I got Kevin McGuire, he was only doing one commission that show, so
Mhm.
there was some table waiting involved there, and of course, there's been probably only one. You always have to get permission and everything to utilize these pieces,
Yeah,
and probably only once that I couldn't from a very big name. But that's I still just love having my own character done by an
yeah,
artist like
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool. All right, so I think we're gonna wrap it up. I mean, you probably need to get home. It looks like you were doing this from your car in a parking lot tonight.
Yeah, at the gym, and then not gonna make it back, and I was having some internet problems, as you know.
Yeah,
So,
it happens. It happens, and but it was fun talking to you. I never had a chance to meet you. I knew about your books, and I'm happy I've gotten to read some and finally talk to the person who created this stuff. It's this is one of the reasons I started the Get in Tune interviews. I do Get in Tune as drawing tutorials and stuff for kids during the day, but in the evening I like to interview people and talk with other creators, and I like that I get to talk with people whose work I admire, whose work inspires me, and your books have done that for me. So it was really a pleasure talking with you tonight, and I want to thank you again for coming on. And I hope that we can talk again next time. You have a Kickstarter going on. Maybe you come back on. We'll promote it.
oh, be great. Yeah, we have another one for Argo Comics coming, another one for Thunder Zone. So yeah, you'll.
All right. Uh, so it sounds good. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks again for coming on. You have a great night, and I'll definitely be in touch. All right. All right. Good night.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me on.
You're welcome.
Good night to all the viewers, and thanks for anyone who watched.
Thank you. Good night. Whoops. Hold on. Wrong one. There we go. All right, guys. I want to thank you all for tuning in to Get in Tune tonight. It really was fun. Like I said to Dan, I love talking to other creators. The people who inspire me. Like I said, I read 2 of his books already. I will be going online and purchasing more. I'm going to be checking out his Kickstarter. More than likely, I will be contributing to it. You guys check it out. Check out all the stuff. Anytime you see an indie creator, make sure you look at their stuff. It really is important to these people who are doing this as a sometimes it's side business, and they hope to one day make it their full time. So anything you could do to help out indie people, that's one of the reasons I do this. I want indies to be known. All right. So I'll be back next week with another guest. And I'll see you guys later. Everyone have a great night.